Welcome to Machismo TV, the ultimate destination for modern men seeking to upgrade their lifestyle. Subscribe to Machismo TV and Saul T-Balls. We stream daily from 12 midnight to 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, the best male-centric content. Highlight reels without reviewing or providing any editorial bias to the content. We have done so much, with so little for so long, we are now qualified to do anything, with nothing.
Peace, folks. This is X from TPOT Media. Open your mind and wake your black ass up. You know what time it is. Hit that damn like button as you make your way in the door. Grab a seat, settle in, get ready. It's the Grown Man Hour with your host, my man, Bernard Riley.
What's up and what's going on? What's up and what's going on, everybody? What is going on, everybody? We are back in here with another, and I was eating, so hopefully I don't got no food on my face. Another Saturday classic that we are definitely cooking up for you here. Make sure all the particulars are in place. And oh yes, I am on time 2 days in a row. I told ya. I got the time stone. I went and acquired the time stone. Had to defeat Thanos to get the time stone, and that's how I'm allowed to be on time. And Hood Conservative is late, dude. It's a whole new regime now. All right, none of that being late stuff now. You got to be here on time now. The latest person on the internet, I get on time 2 days in a row. Now I'm talking junk. We ain't going for this. We won't have that being tardy stuff happening. New regime. But shout out to everybody in the building. We're going to be talking about the subject growing up black. It's a really good thread going on Twitter where the comment section alone, when black people talk about the experience of growing up black, growing up in a black household, what's that like? The small details, the odds and the ends of the small details, it just says a whole lot. It just says a whole lot about this thing that they call the black experience. But when somebody, really reflect on their childhood and all of that, and they just look at the things that are just odd and off base and just, is this normal? Is this normal? No, Ray Arthur, I was not cloned. I told you I defeated Thanos. All right. I defeated Thanos and took the time stone. It was a hard process. Had to go back in time, got caught and lost in the quantum realm for a few years and made it out. Came out and yeah, I had to do what I had to do. Not gonna be on time every day now. That's what happened. But we're going to be getting into this, and as I'm talking right now, Hood. So okay, hold on real quick before I'm about to bring Hood Conservative up. But shout out to the early bird spot, those making it in bright and early. Shout out to Mike Events President. Shout out to Matrix Media. Shout out to RM, as she always says, hit the like button on the way in. Shout out to Celine. Shout out to Truism, the Storm Crow returns. Shout out to you. Shout out to B Shields in the building. Shout out to you. Shout out to the Clue Channel. Says hi, Luciferian. Okay, I really don't like that word. I think that's one of the trigger words that get Nate canceled by YouTube every time. I don't know about that word, but shout out. Salute, Maxwell Max. He says, "Where's the whiskey?" Too early. Shout out to you, and we could drop the music. Shout out to shout out to Daniel Kyer. Shout out to Patrick St. James. Shout out to, and this last one that we'll shout out before we get going here. Shout out to Mr. Albert. Says, if you've never had 1/4 sugar in your Kool-Aid, you not black. I don't even know what you mean by 1/4. You mean the whole pitcher is filled up? Like if the pitcher, like literally a quarter of the pitcher is all sugar? Is that what you're getting at? I've seen unethical amounts of sugar put in Kool-Aid. That is true. But anyway. Thank you for putting 5 on it. So let's get into this. And I think I botched it putting Hood Conservatives in the title. So let's get oh no, I got it. I think I did it. Or either you did. I don't know. Okay. All right. So we got that squared away. All right. So we good to go. All right. The show is rolling. Hood Conservative back in the building as usual on Saturday show. We've been doing this for a while. Been an ongoing long running thing here. I absolutely love it. I I've said it before, I said it again. When it just comes to just ideas and perspective on topics usually dealing with blackness and black people's relationship to America, nobody gets it quite as right as Hood Conservative, in my opinion. I take his perspective on something over. I put it up against anybody, pretty much. So man, another wonderful Saturday show. You have the floor. You have the mic.
Thank you. I appreciate those kind words. I really do. Sometimes on my show, I fancy myself as like a barstool hood nigga philosopher, and so I appreciate those compliments. And you gotta forgive my audience. We drink a lot on my show, so they expect the whiskey. Well, it's a thing. I do shows at night sometime. And I'll be getting off work, and so I'll have a beer and a couple of shots and just start talking shit. And so
it's funny when I first got on camera, and my setup was in my basement and everything, and I was like, I had a few drinks down there, so I was like, yeah, they became a part of the background. And then every now and then we'd be doing them long 5-hour live streams. I would just be like, fuck it. I'll start drinking during the show. So I'm no stranger to having some whiskey and cognac during the show. I'm no stranger. But I was doing morning shows starting at 9 a.m. back then.
Yeah, so that's funny. Right when I left my show, because the whole thing about whiskey is really a continuation from my show. The same commenter was talking about whiskey, and I'm like, bro, it's too early. I usually drink after work or when the sun goes down, whatever happens first. And so morning drinking is hard. I can't do it, even for the show.
Mm-hmm. All right. You tried to sneak a bite in.
I see that. I caught you. I should have kept talking.
And you didn't talk long enough. I thought you had more to say. Now
I wasn't watching you. If I'd have saw you eating, I'd have found something else to say. But no, you know what? I actually finished eating because we were just talking about this Ebony K. Williams thing, and I want to lay something on your audience because I was just sort of riffing and getting some extemporaneous thoughts out with my audience. But I think I've settled on a certain concept here, right? Ebony K. Williams. She's selling marriage right now, but I think it's all wrong. She's selling it for the benefit of women and not for the benefit of men. So I buy out. I just totally back out. I'm not into that. And what I propose is that if you really want black girls to get married more, then stop paying for them to go to school. That
Mm.
that right there, because look, that's the main place where they go to learn feminism. I mean, black girls, I say black girls because of the way the culture is, like you're kind of born into feminism anyway, but you go to college and then you learn exactly all the reasons why you absolutely should hate a man and why you absolutely should never let a man tell you nothing. And so I'm like, well, if you want the women to become more useful to the men, stop paying them to go to college so they can learn to be strong, independent, man hating feminist bitches. Like that right there would solve the problem a lot more than Ebony K. Williams trying to convince women to just lock a man down at 25. Because I'm like, oh, so you're miserable at 40 and you finally realized if you'd have snagged a man at 25, he'd be the one miserable at 40. Yeah, no,
Oh,
no, I'm not going for none of this shit.
that's that's why I said, given like Ebony K. Williams, if you know a little bit about her history, she got a law degree. Obviously, she used to compete in she was like a beauty pageant. I mean, I don't know if she ever, tried to become Miss America or some shit, but she was apparently bad back from 18 to 22. I mean, she still look good now. So like if you somebody who back then was on the fast track to get a law degree, was competing in, top level beauty pageants and all of that stuff, she's been in the room in the vicinity of, so I have no doubt, so many successful, wealthy, or to use the term, high value men done tried to swipe her up, take her off the market. And so now she's sitting here, unthawing her ice babies and everything that she put in the freezer. But it's like, and I hate to say it like this, but it's just a fact of reality given, data. Had she played her cards right, she would have already taken half of a man's money by now.
Right. And he'd be miserable at 40. Exactly.
Exactly. That's what I said on my show yesterday. But you put it just right. Instead of her being miserable at 40, unthawing her ice babies, he'd be miserable at 40, because half his shit gone. And then, so yeah, it's going to be miserable either way. But I do look at it as this. They're in a contradiction or conundrum, because the place where they're taught, as you said, all the reasons to hate a man, to not need a man, but that is the place where the type of men that they want, that's a hotbed, a cesspool of them, damn near. And so the type of men that they're going to end up wanting when they get older, they was surrounded by them back then. So they're saying, hey, start trying to get with these men now. So but when they do that, they're throwing everything that's getting taught at the university under the bus. Under the bus that's driven by the bus driver that Nick Williams said she would never date. So that's the full circle thing that they got going on there with this whole dynamic.
There's one other revelation I came to. We should just get this one last thing out and then move to the show, I guess. But women, and I was, like I said, I was just thinking and talking as I go through this whole Ebony K. Williams thing. But it occurred to me that because modern dating is just, once upon a time there was no dating. You were, if you liked a girl, you were on a path to marriage. Period. End of. That was the discussion.
Yeah.
And outside of that, because we have totally abandoned that, then modern dating for women is basically trying to fuck your way into a relationship. And for a woman, I imagine that's got to be like there are no right moves to make in that sense.
Mm-hmm. I
And
agree.
so I really have no real solution to that, except for the one solution. This is where I concluded. This is where I ended my show. As a woman, the only way forward, the path to greatness is to belong to a man greater than yourself. Because other than
Mhm.
that, you're basically trying to fuck your way into a relationship, and that shit don't be working out the way it's supposed to.
Yeah, but how can they do that while simultaneously being taught and pushed to get out there and compete with them, so you don't need them? It's like it's a contradiction that on the macro scale. I'm not saying individual people can't do things, can't make something work. Two individuals could end up in a happy relationship, but on the macro scale, the system will fail. It's not too many ways around that. But Deacon Dave in the building says, "Can we get a Nukem Nate appearance today?" Man, I happened to stumble upon Free Zone Lou's Nukem Nate clips. This was yesterday or the day before yesterday, and I sat there and listened to it. Like, it was brutal. I might play that at the end of the show. Like when I'm done and just completely wrapped up, I may just play some of that. But no, not because I want to leave it up. I want to take it down.
I was about to say you gotta be careful because I told Freezone, I think one of his Nukem clips got taken down because there's a reason why he's not on YouTube anymore. Fuck with Big Nate. Shout out to little Big Nate, but you know exactly why YouTube hates you and you refuse to adjust. So you just did your thing somewhere else. Bro, be careful. That shit is like nuclear energy over here. You can't just hold it in your hands.
Yeah. I forgot. I think he was going off on Gabe A and somebody else. He literally uttered the words, and then we're going to move on after this. And I feel very uncomfortable saying this, but he said, they wouldn't know, them niggas wouldn't know manhood if it fucked them in the ass. I was like, whoa, Nate, stop. he said they wouldn't know manhood if it fucked them in the ass.
Like, yeah, that shit just made my head hurt. God damn it.
Like, Nate, pull back.
I expect some shit from what's his name from OGJ Speed. He be saying some aggressive gay shit like that. Oh my god.
I mean, it's like I know your goal is to call them some bitches, but you took it too far. That's just you want to call them some weak, effeminate men, but that was too far. Oh man. All right, we got to get into the top. We got set up the show today as I pull up this
material. Segment, by the way, that was a great ending to that segment.
Yeah. All right.
These last $2, I'm not gonna lose.
Yeah. All right. All right. Hold on. Is this it? Yeah. Okay, I got it. I'm pulling it up now. Okay. Go ahead and set us up. Tease what it is that we're talking about here today as I get ready to pull the stuff up. But thank you, whoever that was. I can't even see the name now. I think it was Mr. Albert. Was that who? No, Deacon Dave. No, Mr. Albert was first. Deacon Dave was second. Deacon Dave, thank you for those $2. Do appreciate it. Thank you for your last $2. Thank you very much for that. But all right, go ahead and set us up today.
I'm starting to think that wasn't actually his last $2 because he's always on his last $2. But anyway.
Yeah.
All right. No, I call it tweet farming. This is how I get a lot of my content. I just scroll through Twitter, and some stuff catches my eye. Other stuff I know right away this will make a great show, and then there's other things where it just I could never put this on the air because it's so horrible, right? But Twitter is a great place for conversations, and I find Black Twitter has some of the most interesting conversations. So today I find a tweet that, and if you're familiar with Twitter, it's a very, very familiar kind of and Bernard, I guess if you pull it up, people can see what I'm talking about. It's a very familiar.
Oh yes, it's almost up.
And the question says, what's an opinion about growing up Black that'll have you like this? And it's basically a guy standing surrounded by a bunch of swords, like everybody's about to take his head off. And so
here it comes. Yeah. They should have found a Black guy, but anyway. But right. Yeah, they got Kevin James at Swords Point by 13 or so people. And I guess the gist of it is that's what it's certain things you can say about Black people or what it's like growing up Black that will have everybody just basically, pointing all the swords, daggers, and arrows at you. And yeah, that's basically the gist of it as I understand it.
Yeah, the white guy is out of place in this meme. They should have had Bill Cosby in there from the Townsend speech. Like that would have been a way more accurate. But
Mm-hmm.
basically, the idea is that what opinion about growing up black that'll have you like this, right? And so I started scrolling through some of the comments and the retweets. Holy, the retweets alone are just like some really deep black trauma. And I'm looking
Yeah.
at this stuff, and I was actually kind of scrambling for a show idea, and I stumbled upon this like just this morning, Bernard, I think, and I'm like, wow, yeah, let's talk about the black experience. And it's not even necessarily me, just why you always picking on black people. Black people, in our own words, seem to have very, very negative opinions and memories of the black experience. And so,
Mm-hmm.
don't take my word for it. Let's just listen to some of the Twitter comments and retweets.
All right. So, and first off, the guy who started this thing is his name is Idris Elbow. That's funny to me. But anyway, but all right. So the first person in here, a blue check, says a lot of us have narcissistic parents. I hate the term narcissistic only because uh like black women are professionals at um unprofessional non-clinical diagnosis of the term diagnosing narcissist unclinically, unprofessionally, but they're experts at that shit. That's up there with their intuition and everything else. Like they just know what they can just smell a narcissist that walks in the room. But it maybe it is something to say there about parents, being narcissistic, but I didn't find that one to be
No,
that
you got to look at the
fascinating. But
irony. No, look at the
go ahead.
irony of it, because you were walking yourself right up to the edge, but you didn't take the blind leap of faith.
All right, go
Black
ahead and push me
black
off.
black women are also like as you said, they tend to throw the word narcissism around. They just, for some reason, they like to call everybody narcissist, right? If black women are saying that, if a black woman's saying that black parents are the most narcissistic, who are the most black parents? Who are most of the black parents? Is moms.
Aha.
Yeah,
Aha.
yeah. So you bitches telling on yourself, and then too, when you look at it like that, yeah, black girls have some of the worst relationships with their moms.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. See, I didn't make that connection. Didn't make that connection. No, good stuff. Next one. Black Beach. These are blue check people. I don't know who they are, but they got blue checks. It says the black church requires anti-intellectualism and following blind traditions to function. Um, I agree with that one. You may not, but because you got some religious and spiritual leanings. If I understand your position right on that, but I don't know if you have a critique of the black church.
Well, I mean, basically what she's describing is faith in a certain. I mean, blind. What is that? Unquestioning belief or whatever belief. That's
Yeah.
essentially faith. So it's like you're ridiculing the very concept of faith, which good luck with that. But I think black people have sort of walked away from the church more than the church has walked away from them.
Yeah. Now this is where it gets interesting. We getting into the good ones here. It says little black boys raised by single mothers are not the man of the house, nor should they have to carry that burden. Now, that is a good one. That is a good one. And the weird thing about it is when black people read that, most of them will agree with that, even though in practical terms they don't live it in reality, or their life doesn't reflect an agreement with that statement, is what I'm trying to say. Like they will read that little black boys raised by single mothers are not the man of the house, nor should they have to carry that burden. They'll agree with that statement online, but in reality, they do be expecting that.
It is a functional reality, and I was just talking about this on my stream. Like there is a certain commonality to the experience of being like the sons of single moms, right? That's what we call son husbands and shit. We can sort of like categorize a certain phenomenon. And I think as a kid, once you're old enough to open the door by yourself, you do sort of become the man of the house as a boy.
Oh
Like
damn.
Yeah, once you can like answer the door, like once she has decided I can trust you to answer to lock and unlock the door by yourself, it's like, all right, I'll be back. I'm going out. Take care of your little brother. Like that.
Oh
That's
shit.
yeah, yeah. Shit goes down like that.
Oh shit. Yeah, yeah, no, that's a good point. That's a good point. This is where it could get a little, I don't know if touchy is the right word, but just interesting. Thinking going to a therapist means you're crazy when in most cases it means the opposite. Black people don't like to talk about mental health, you know, and the person who's seeking, help in that area, well, they're viewed as crazy for seeking help, but the crazy person don't know that they're crazy and is not seeking help. So that's where we run into a conundrum when we're examining black people and the whole idea and concept of mental health. Because I think it is a lot of functionally insane black folks walking around that could use some help, but they don't go get it. So that's the dynamic right there.
I've said this before. I'm not a great fan of the whole therapy
Yeah.
institution. Like, I know there's uses for it. I'm not gonna throw. I'm not gonna throw it totally out. Baby in the bathwater and all that. But I don't know if therapy is exactly the issue. Like, I think therapy is like after the fact. I think what's going on with Black folk is that the family systems and the social organization of just the areas that the Black people live in, there's so much chaos and trauma going on that it basically makes crazy people. And no amount of therapist can solve that because you're not solving the chaos trauma at its core. And so, an army of this is literally the thinking of certain liberals. Like, we got people having what they call a mental health crisis, right? And it's like some guy with a knife about to stab somebody, and they want to send in therapists to like talk that guy down and essentially talk the knife out of his hand. And I'm like, honestly, like, one, the therapist is probably going to get killed. Two, it might be simpler to just kill the guy in that moment. And three, the thing that made him this way probably happened a long, long, long time.
Mm. Yes, yes, yeah. I see that. I see that. Just putting that banner up right there. All right, cool, cool, cool. Um, Going down now. Somebody be sarcastically saying my parents were married because the question on the table is, what's an opinion about growing up black that will have you canceled? He says my parents were married, so that's a sarcastic what
Yeah,
he
I
says.
got that on my screen over here too because I'm looking at it on my own Twitter. That's funny. Like, bro,
Yeah.
you know what? That alone will have you a little bit like, oh, so you one of them niggas with a dad, huh? All right.
Mm-hmm.
Like, motherfuckers look at you differently. Like, fuck you mean your dad won't let you? That nigga live there or something?
Children shouldn't be beat viciously for little mistakes and them just being children. Now, what's your thoughts on that one? Because I know you're no stranger. I mean, I know you don't have no qualms, or you ain't gun shy about a kid getting fucked up. So,
Um,
yeah,
honestly, I don't like. I don't go on a campaign against somebody beating their kid. But if you ask me about it, I would argue that more times than not, you're not doing any good hitting your kid.
yeah.
It's been forever since I even wanted to hit one of my kids. And I
Mm-hmm.
remember when I had just one, when my first child, my first daughter was born. She was like 2 or 3 years old, and I had a desk in my room, and it was like a TV and a computer and everything. And then you know how you have all the wires underneath out the way, and so under the desk, like right in the area where the chair would slide in and out, that's where all the wires are and stuff. And the computer tower, everything is down there. All this electrical, high energy stuff going on down there. And one day I just happened to I don't remember what's going on. I walked in the room and I saw my daughter down there, a little 2, 3-year-old baby, and she was just curled up in the wires, one of them in her mouth. This shit just like all kind of images went through my head real fast, and I snatched her up out of there and I spanked her on the butt a couple of times, and then after it, I felt bad because like, why in the fuck would she understand what anything just happened here? All she knows is
Exactly.
daddy just hit her. Like this fucking
Exactly.
asshole, this big giant asshole. What the fuck?
Uh-huh. That was the first thing I thought there. That was a situation where y'all had no prior discussions about don't do that with the wires. I'm assuming it's like that. It wasn't a matter of disobedience or not listening or just willfully doing something. I mean, she was being a kid. She was just doing some stupid kid stuff. So yeah, no, I was immediately thinking, nah, that ain't worthy of an ass whooping. There
Yo,
are
I'm
some
gonna tell you,
situations.
I'm gonna be
Go ahead.
flat out with it. I had to look at myself. I hit her because I was afraid. And
Yeah.
that's a crime. That's a sin right there. That's like, oh, so you get scared and you spank your kid, fucking pussy. Like that's what I had to like really recognize. Like
Yep.
she didn't do anything worthy of me hitting her per se, but in that moment, the fear of the moment, like that's all I could think to do is to spank her. And it was like, the fuck is wrong with you? Like after the fact, like you start to play the logic of it out. It's like, you're kind of retarded for that.
Yeah. The example that I gave is that if a kid is just walking through the living room or just going through the living room, and let's say they accidentally knock over a vase and a lamp, and it's a nice vase or lamp, and the mom really liked that vase and lamp, and now she mad that the nice vase is broke, and she take that anger out on the kid, and just you're hitting the kid because you're mad that something that you like is broke, and you're taking it out on the kid. Now the difference is if you told the kid don't run through the living room, and that's a long-standing rule in the house. You don't go running through the living room. You don't throw the little Nerf football in the living room. You don't do this blah 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 in the living room. You just walk straight lines in the living room. If that is a standing rule in the house and that rule is understood and they know and they did the shit anyway, then some punishment is necessary. But if it wasn't nothing like that, he just tripped and fell and bumped into the vase and knocked it down, and now you're beating his ass. It's like, no. It's like, with a lot of black parents, a lot of ass whoopings get handed out because they're mad. You took a different angle on it, saying you was scared of what
Well,
could happen to her.
because
So you took that,
right, because
but
we're not talking about like knocking over furniture or whatever. This is like you're in the electrical wires. Like one false move, you bite down too hard. Like God knows what could happen. Like you had the wire
yeah,
in your mouth. Like this is like a crazy image for me. And so in that moment, it was panic. And
yeah.
like when you panic, you do the wrong thing oftentimes. And it's like you said, you taking out your emotion on the child, and that's
Mm-hmm.
where it becomes a sin. And so that's where I kind of learned, like, yeah, spanking your kid is probably not the move. So even with my son, I I I realized that even with my boy, he's more afraid of me than I possibly know. And so I could just sort of talk to him. Like I can make my daughters cry just by telling them they did
Mm-hmm.
something wrong. But with your son, it's like yeah, I get it. I can see it in him. I make him feel bad, and then you know what? I'm just gonna live with that, and I don't have to beat up on the boy. Let him feel bad enough.
Yeah, RM, that's a good question. Is it ever cool, or I'll just say okay, not cool. It's never cool, but no. Is it ever okay to beat or to whip, to spank a 2-year-old? Typically, my opinion, I would typically say no, but I understand the concept of of smacking a hand a little bit.
Yeah,
Just
that's
just
what I
just
was
just
thinking.
just a little pop on the hand. They keep reaching for something. You said no, don't reach for it. They keep reaching. Look, no, stop. I get. I'm not tripping on that, but it's still you should try not to have to do that. But see, the only reason I do hold out the possibility of a little pop on the hand, because I don't believe in moving the remote or taking the batteries out the remote, because that means you letting the 2-year-old run the house. If you gotta move everything out of their reach. No, this is the remote. You don't play with the remote. I'm watching TV. If you touch that remote, it's going to change it off what I'm watching. You may not understand all that completely, but don't touch this damn remote. I said don't touch it. And that's just that. I'm not about to punk out and let the kid punk me. Now I got to take the batteries out the remote and give it to him like he Debo or some shit. Like, no, you just not going to touch the remote because I said so. So, you know, and if we at war with that and he determined to keep touching the remote, then yeah, the hand might get popped. You're not going to win. You're not going to win a battle against me in that regard. And you're 2 years old. Like, no, but so that's where I'm at on that.
This is why I said I don't go off on some kind of crusade against it, but as a concept, I understand and I side with why you don't really hit your kid all that much. But if somebody popping their little kid on the hand because they're running crazy, yeah, whatever, do it.
Yeah. All right. Let's get on to the next. I think the next one is sort of in line. It says, whoopings didn't change behavior at all. It only made us sneakier and hesitant to communicate at all with our parents, which we then took into our he got deep, which we then took into our relationships and romantic partners. So no, we didn't turn out okay. That last line that we didn't turn out okay is the old heads be like, hey, we got spanked, we had to go outside and get a switch, and we turned out just fine.
Right. I feel like that came from a man. I feel like that's some childhood boy trauma right there coming up.
Yeah. that one was a man. Yeah, all day. And yeah, that's that we turned out just fine. No, yeah, I didn't. yeah, it was people in that turned out just fine generation put up, but they put up just as amazing numbers when it came to the crime rate, the in prison, how many of them was imprisoned, how many of them was doing this or doing that. It's like the ones who were just fine despite of what happened. It's like those ones are fine, but y'all got some bad statistics on y'all.
Right.
So like don't even go there with the we turned out just fine. No, y'all didn't.
And I would argue that they're not all that fine. The fine ones aren't necessarily fine either. They're just functional.
Yeah. Yeah. It says children shouldn't have the burden placed on their backs to save the family. That's the parent's job.
Man.
Woo!
That's some shit. I remember like Tommy Sotomayor was like famous for making this point at one time. He was talking about some college athletes and how Peyton Manning didn't have to buy his mama a house.
Yep.
His daddy already had that worked out for him. But in the black community, one of these niggas gets signed to a ball team, that's the first thing they do is buy their mama a house.
Mm-hmm.
And now you got athletes on podcasts telling the stories of how their families is ungrateful, how their mamas ain't shit. Like this shit's starting to get out there. You buy her the house and you still suffering.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's very true. And even Peyton Manning's dad, played in the NFL, so there's that. But even if you have a functional household, two parents that's married, working together, they bought a house, after 20, 25 years, basically by the time the son is in the NFL signing that that rookie contract, that house is almost paid off, or if not paid off. Like they're literally sitting there with a paid off house at the time that their son is signing that rookie contract. They already got a $450,000 net worth. They're fine. It's like
hold on.
Go ahead.
Mike in the chat. Mike
What, right here?
in the chat. LeBron buying his mom a house to have sex with young men. How you buying your mom a house and she fucking your teammates? Like you go home to see your mom and shit, and this nigga like, I just left you from the locker room. How you beat me here? What the fuck? This is the shit that the black experience, bro. That's why this thread is so retarded. Like, damn, when you really start talking about the black experience, shit might bring a tear to your eye, bro.
Yeah. It's wild. It's wild. But the next one is a dude said, this will have everybody at Source Point with you. Say, I'm tired of eating fried food. Amen. Black people diet is horrible. It gets blamed on racism, and Brittany, was that Brittany Cooper or or
Yeah,
I,
Brittany Cooper.
okay, Brittany Cooper. I get Brittany
I already
Cooper
know where you're going with this, Trump, right?
and yeah. But what's the other chick that I get confused? Stacey Abrams, Brittany Cooper and Stacey Abrams. I thought they were the same person until I finally saw them together one time. But yeah, I get them two mixed up. I was going to say Stacey Abrams, but no, it was Brittany Cooper who said that they're fat and that obesity rate with black women in the whole works is because we're in the Trump era and racism and blah 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 blah, and that's what's making us put more fried food in our mouth. And so yeah, that's an issue. That's an issue when it comes to growing up black. The diet, we every culture has their own unique food. Our food came from, I hate taking stuff back to slavery, but I think the whole origin, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the whole origin of soul food came from the shit that white people didn't want to eat that they threw us, and we took it and figured out a way to make it taste good. And now we still eating the shit like we on a goddamn plantation, eating the inner lining and intestines of the pig's shit tunnel. We call it shitlings, but that's what it is. The tunnel of shit. Shitterlings or whatever. The basically the tube and tunnel that the pig's shit go through. We clean that and eat it, and it's soul food. The diet is fucking horrible and it's killing us. It's causing all kind of other problems that's getting roped in and blamed on other stuff, and it's ridiculous. So we need to. I don't know. It just seemed like the black intelligentsia, intellectual PhD dietitians or whatever the fuck would figure out the best ideal, because there's racial differences and some things that are ideal, some things will cause higher blood pressure for us that won't cause higher blood pressure for white people. There are differences, and I've said it plenty of times. If a doctor don't take race into consideration, he could get sued for malpractice, because there are differences when you scratch beneath the surface when it comes to race. So it's like it should, like they say, oh, this stuff is bad for us, or this makes us have this happen, and this makes us that happen. Okay, well, what works? If what we're doing currently doesn't work, show what works specific to us. It's like it's enough intelligent, high IQ black people that got PhDs and all this shit. It's like, okay, lay out the black person food pyramid that we should eat, because right now we just eating, a bunch of gunk and slop, and it's just like, and that's why we're dying, and then we blaming it on, and then Brittany Cooper blaming the health issues on fucking Donald Trump. The shit is dumb. But anyway, I had to rant on that one because I'm somebody who just,
No,
started
that's
eating,
the real thing. Like
eating healthy. Yeah. All right,
I don't consider myself like a healthy eater per se, but I do make certain points. Like I don't eat a lot of fast food. Like even when I'm on the road and stuff, I try to eat something besides fast food. I like to find one of them little spots that serve like chicken and rice, like a little Dominican spot or something like that. Because
Oh, I forgot. Yeah, you be trucking. You be driving that truck. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Truckers got the worst diet.
yeah, man. It's a lot of like grocery store processed food. Like what I might do is eat something that's like fresh made or whatever. But like, nah, you got to be careful with your diet. That's one thing. But I don't know if it's a black thing per se. Like maybe the black diet is just the soul food is high cholesterol, high salt or whatever. But just as a general idea, just as every individual person's responsibility, you got to pay attention to those little things. You got to take some kind of little efforts to check yourself. You got to have some kind of discipline because nobody can watch your health for you.
Yeah, no, those are facts. Those are huge facts. Oh shit, we got more super chats that I didn't see. Bring up because they not YouTube not starring them for me. So bring up Mike and Vince, or I'll try to scroll up and find it. All right, he says BR Google image. Oh wait, I think I did read that one. Well, I think I read it, but just didn't say it. But shout out to Mike and Vince person. Thank you for putting 5 on. He says BR Google image a narcissistic personality disorder and see how many symptoms line up with black women. Yeah, I'll do that. I'll do that. And Charles Merchant in the building says therapy is just public school, secondary education, indoctrination. Goddamn. See, you part of the problem. No, just playing. But yeah, I know some people got their views on therapy. I think, I think therapists slow walk you to some shit you already know, but it depends. It depends. All right. Some of it is some bullshit. I mean, hell, we did all that content on that crazy therapist. I mean, I don't think nobody's getting benefited from going to her, but he says still run by gays and promiscuous females. Yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna fight you on that one, but
Bro,
I do. Yeah, go ahead, Hood. Go ahead.
This
What
is
do we get for
why
$10? Everything you want.
All right, go ahead. You got it.
yeah, this is why T. Hassan Johnson and his colleagues have created, they're pioneering essentially this unique field called Black male studies. And whatever criticisms I might make, put that aside. The simple fact is they made this, they felt the need to create this field and pioneer this field of study and research specifically because it seems as if you can't even become a practicing licensed therapist without becoming and essentially internalizing and being proficient in these ideas that are basically feminism or some level of misandry. And so in order to even operate in this field, you kind of have to start out from a point of women need to be saved or women are automatically correct and men are automatically wrong. And so like the entire field of therapy does seem to have a huge weight leaning to one side.
Mm-hmm. I'm typing in something. I'm not typing in what I just told Mike I would be typing in. But hold on, races differently. All right. Hopefully I find what I'm looking for. I probably won't, but it was a real good video. It was a short. I'm not going to. I'll try to gradually find it. It was about Black people in our health and our blood pressure and our kidneys and all kind of. Yeah, I just had to find it. It was real good, and I know I'll never find it on the live show. I just took a blind shot in the dark, and it ain't coming up. But all right, but that would have been damn good supporting info in the conversation. But no, and I feel and I hear what you're saying on the black male studies. That's why I'm like, I'm glad that people like Dr. T. Hassan Johnson, they're like he's really pioneering something in my perspective. Maybe it was other people already doing it, but him being out, teaching out in academia and is really, as far as I know, he's the only one driving that vehicle, damn near, at least the way that he's doing it. Because I know a lot of people who are probably doing it, they probably still subscribe to a lot of the same bullshit, where his focus is very precise and very, focused on, black men and boys. So, but it's an interesting dynamic. But
Well,
let's.
it's the entire field of therapy because remember, there is no white male studies either. Like, imagine the shock that people would hear at some shit like that. White male studies.
Holy
They
shit,
probably
that
riot.
would be fucking funny.
That yeah, they probably riot. They would never let that off the ground, but for very similar reasons, mind you. And so it's an issue in the entire field where if you're going to speak toward the interest of men, you're essentially shaking the foundation of the entire institution.
Mm, yeah, but
Now,
anyway.
let's get out of the comments for a section. I wanted to there's something else I wanted to do. Go back to the very top of the post and where it says like retweets or whatever quotes, where it says quotes right under the picture. It says 260 something quotes.
Okay, I'm not that Twitter literate. Okay, where's the quotes? That the retweets is that little circle with the arrows right here. No, that's repost. Is that it?
Uh,
Can you see what I'm
no,
doing?
yeah, I see what you're doing. You should be able to go to all the other posts that other people have made because
Uh,
you can look at all the tweets that people have retweeted off of this one, and those comments are crazy.
Okay.
View quote tweets. There it goes. View quote tweets. There it is.
All right. Okay, so we basically reading like this stuff right here.
Yeah. This is like, instead of making comments, they just retweeted it with a comment at the top. But some of these are way more interesting. Like once you start going to the bottom of the comments, it starts to get a little corny. That's why I said start over with the quotes.
All right. Black schools were full of materialism and made it seem like a problem to be smart. If education was embraced more than materialism, maybe things can begin to turn around.
Now look. You get accused of cooning when you point out these little intricacies of Black failure. But these things are noticed by everybody in the game. It's just that most people aren't going to point them out to you because you're coon.
Mm-hmm. That y'all trying to. Okay, hold on. Now this is everybody responding to her, or all right. You might have to control on this one. You might have to put it up on your screen. You know I'm not Twitter literate.
I'm only on my phone. I don't even have my laptop right now.
Oh, okay.
Just go back to just go back. Just hit back and where it says view quote tweets again.
Okay.
So wait, not here. The screen right before this. Right. So hit that back arrow where it says post. Go backwards. At the top it says post. Hit the back arrow.
Okay.
Now go down. Scroll down. Just scroll down. There you go. Next comment, and then the next comment.
Okay.
Don't even click on it. Don't even click.
Okay, don't even click on that. All right, cool. Got it. All right, if you're Pan-African, your chances. Okay, if you're a Pan-African, chances are your family ain't. Oh shit.
Yo, shit start getting real over here in the quote tweets.
Oh man. If you're Pan-African, chances are your family ain't shit. Because think about it, people who come from good homes, good, healthy, functioning homes, they not dreaming of Africa somewhere. What did a movie called "I Dream of Africa" or something like that? They don't have Africa dreams.
Only like you got to have that color purple life. That's how you dream of Africa.
Oh man, that's real, man. That's real. Like show me somebody who was raised in a nice, stable, functional, two-parent, middle class or upper middle class family that grew up and became a Pan-African. There ain't too many of them.
Yeah. Listen, this is not me. I am not making these comments. This is the Black thoughts on Twitter. That's all this is, man. Niggas know what's going on out here. I don't have to make shit up.
All right. He says, Black parents fucking suck. Hold on. He said, you don't realize how fucking far behind they are compared to other races until you go to college and see your non-Black friends have shit like 529 plans to pay for that shit, decent car. They ain't gotta pay.
What the hell he talking about right now?
I mean, what the hell is a 529 plan? A 529 plans to pay for that shit? Was there somebody in the chat room?
So white folk just have $529 just randomly on them in case some shit go wrong. Like, what the fuck is a 529 plan?
Help us out, chat. Help us out. Somebody got to know.
My mom ain't have no 529.
No. Yeah, 529. That's what a combo meal at McDonald's used to cost, $529 at one point. Like, what is the 529 plan to pay for to college? Okay, RM says PA 529 savings program, PA state tax deduction. What? We Black. We need more details. We don't know. We don't know what's going on there. We gotta
type it in Ebonics for me. Type it in Ebonics.
Okay. All right. Now I got a whole paragraph written in the back. Okay, here it is. Okay. What is a 529 plan? A 529 plan is a tax advantaged savings plan designed to encourage saving for future education costs. 529 plans, legally known as qualified tuition plan, are sponsored by states, state agencies, or educational institutions and are authorized by Section 529 of the Internal Revenue Code.
Oh, you know what? I think my daddy tried to set something up like that for me, but my mama spent it because we needed the money.
That's what fucking happens. I do think if some black parents who do try to get something set up like that, but you know, Negroes, eventually something's gonna come up where that $5,000 that was saved up just sitting there chilling, eventually that piggy bank gonna have to get broke
Your
into.
future, your future, that $5,000, you mean, AKA your future?
Yeah.
That's really how that should be. And this is like, I remember listening to, I think it was Sub Zero. Somebody was on there talking about they had like a house from their grandparents, and then the whole thing of gentrification, where it's really just y'all peoples actually did have land and homes or whatever, but for one reason or another, the next generation couldn't maintain it. It's like, look, man, we're gonna sell our future because we gotta pay these bills.
Yeah, what I'm thinking of with that 529 plan is like I'm thinking about the scene in Jungle Fever when she was asking Gator what happened to the TV, and he's like, "I smoked the TV." And I think what happened to the 529 plan? I smoked the 529 plan.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot of that. It's definitely a lot of that going on. God damn, you know how much rock you can buy for $5.29? I'm gonna get me $5.29 worth of rock. Like that's a
Yeah.
gigantic rock.
God damn. Ray Arthur in the building with that $20 super chat. Do thank you very much for that. I do appreciate it. Let's get that one up wherever it is. Let me scroll up. Wait, hold on. Here we go. All right, we got Ray Arthur. No, I got it. Ray Arthur right there. He said the problem is because our parents do not do any research on the food they eat. Then they feed it to their kids, not understanding what you eat can also cause behavior problems. That's why other countries ban food from the U.S. Thank you for the $20 super chat. Do appreciate that. Wait, hold your thought on that because there's somebody else in here. My man Kenneth Williams in the building with the $10 super chat. Do appreciate that. Thank you for putting your $10 on it.
What do we get for $10? Everything you want.
Shout out to you. Appreciate it. All right. What you about to say?
I was gonna say my kids practically hate me because I think we've been to like McDonald's or Burger King like twice in 5 or 6 years.
Yeah. I mean, I feel you, and I'm trying to do. I mean, I'm doing better for myself, but my kids, they still, they used to a lot of junk. I can't. Okay, I didn't have a health scare, but I had a health. Okay, let's tighten this shit up type of situation. My blood pressure and everything, and and so you get blood work, and they tell you, okay, this is in a good range. This is just slightly elevated, but not a really problem. But you're young, so you want to keep an eye on it. You want to keep an eye on it. You want to do, I went through that whole process, but the blood pressure was the issue. And so I had to do a lot of work and a lot of stuff to get that down. But my kids, they've eaten a lot of fast food, a lot of pizza, and some of the stuff that I even cook for them be quick and easier. The unhealthy shit is just easy. And so I've changed my diet, and I gotta work into changing theirs. But they're older to the point now where they can get their own food. They can go get their own fast food. My kids are that old now, so it's like it's a little harder to rein the shit in when they can just go drive to the fast food spot. So but I'm trying to work on it.
I gotta call some. Well, not call something out. I want to give a shout out to Infantry Skills. I haven't actually seen you around the chats much lately. Welcome back, wherever you've been. He says, "You guys have very low opinions of black people. Is this what the manosphere has come to? I guess anything to keep an audience and make money is the goal. Everything is fun and giggles." Now, I will accept you guys must have a low opinion of black people, whatever, whatever. But I'm not giving my opinion today. That's the whole point. This is not me giving my opinion of black people. This is the random thoughts on black Twitter. Black people's opinion of the black experience must be relatively low. Like I don't know, I don't know what hurt your feelings about this, bro, but this isn't me. This is us, bro.
Yeah, this is just a random collection. I mean, put it like this: Black Twitter. Even though I'm sure I don't spend as much time there as you, but it's yes, it's some crazy shit going on. Yes, they say a bunch of wild out shit. Yes, yes, yes to all of that. But I do think it is a random collection of black people from all different parts. Excuse me, from all different parts of the country who ultimately, in my opinion, is just a collection of ideas that in their own way got their finger on the pulse of Black America in the whole thought process and zeitgeist of how Black people operate and think. And it's like you can't deny that simple point. So if this is what's just coming, what is just coming out of the mouth of Black people, you can't just try to write it off as just, oh, y'all just being critical of Black people. It's like, no.
Right, like, I didn't write not one of these tweets, bro. I ain't even give my opinion yet.
Yeah.
I'm just sort of commenting on the comments.
Yeah, but shout out to Infantry Skills. He finally quit copy and pasting,
Like,
the
for
same
real. Shit. Like, damn, bro, I'm actually good to see you. Like, we actually got a real comment and everything.
Yeah. Yeah. But shout out to Salty Balls and Machismo TV dropped a $50 and a $25 cash app on it. Thank y'all for coming.
Suck on my chocolate salty balls. Put them in your mouth. Put them in your mouth and suck them and suck them.
Shout out to Machismo TV and Deacon Salty Balls coming through always as the show sponsor. Do appreciate it. And make sure the link should be in the chat pretty soon. Make sure you go and subscribe to Machismo TV. They just hit 1,000 subs over there. They just hit 1,000 subs over there. So shout out to them. Shout out to them. You definitely want to go and be subscribed to that. And hell, and while we're at it, might as well.
Welcome to Machismo TV, the ultimate destination for modern men seeking to upgrade their lifestyle. Subscribe to Machismo TV and Saul T-Balls. We stream daily from 12 midnight to 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, the best male-centric content. Highlight reels without reviewing or providing any editorial bias to the content. We have done so much, with so little for so long, we are now qualified to do anything, with nothing.
All right. Salute, and shout out to Machismo TV. The link is pinned to the top of the chat. The link is pinned to the top of the chat, and it will be circulating throughout the chat periodically throughout the show. So definitely, you want to go and subscribe. So all right, getting back into it. Yeah, that 529 plan really got me. All right, being forced to go to church as a kid is low-key child abuse. What's your thoughts on that one? I try to go easy on religion,
I have a complicated, I guess, opinion of that whole idea because as a kid, I didn't enjoy church, and it wasn't like a bad experience. I did have one really fucked up experience in church.
Oh yeah, we want to hear that. We want to hear about that.
Yeah.
who was it? Who was it? And where did y'all have sex?
No, it wasn't even that.
Okay,
It wasn't
I
nothing
thought
like
it.
that. It was
Okay.
just awkward and like really weird. No, so all right, I was in Baltimore and I got arrested. I was locked up for a couple of months or whatever, and I got out of jail. And so you know how like you get out of jail, you go to your mom's house, whatever. You know, how mom, I'm gonna do good, right?
Wait, hold on. You was locked up for a couple months?
Yeah, listen, man. I done did shit, bro. I've seen things. So
Okay.
I was, you know, I ain't no life or nothing. I ain't did no bid, but I've been arrested. I've been in jail, and
Yeah, me too. But I mean, I normally,
I've done a good couple of months in.
I get right out. Like when I when the only time I had to stay a night there is when I got a DUI. You basically can't. You get pulled over with a DUI. You got to sit there for 8 hours minimum.
Nah, they
So
don't.
so in that.
That's not what happens to dope boys.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. Yeah, I don't know nothing about that. But all right, go ahead.
So anyway, like I said, so I get out of jail and you know I go back. In my mother's house. You know I'm gonna be a good boy and shit. So we go to church, right? And it's the church that I had you know been going to a couple times here and there since I was little. So everybody's familiar with me. I'm familiar with them. And anyway, I just wasn't going because you know I'm off the porch now. I ain't you know fuck that. I ain't going to church no more. So I'm back in church and the pastor he's doing his sermon and at a certain point the shit started getting a little like prodigal sonish. You know the prodigal son story.
Yeah.
And
Basically,
so
yeah.
yeah, so the prodigal son for those who don't know is like there's a good son and then there's a bad son and then the bad son goes off into the world and fucks up and then he eventually comes home and the father loves him, you know. And so he's sort of riffing on that and then this motherfucker is like, and brother Jason, he's come back to us. By the way, that's actually my real name. I just sort of let it out. But anyway, he's like, he's come back to us, and he finally comes back to us. He's like, "Can you stand up for us, brother? Stand up for the pastor, for the congregation." So he wanted me to stand up, and I'm just sitting there like, "Oh fuck, Jesus Christ, this motherfucker want me to stand up." Now everybody looking at me, and I gotta stand up. Otherwise, you know, he's gonna stop the whole show. So he he tells me to stand up. I stand up, and then he's like, "I need everybody in the church. Just point your hands. Just everybody, just point at brother. Just point at the young brother, and just direct all your prayers at him. Just I need you all to point at him right now and direct your prayer." So the whole church pointing at me now. And I'm just looking around at everybody pointing at me and like, man, I'd rather go back to jail. Ain't nobody pointing at me in jail. so like that whole moment came and went or whatever. And then so now I'm in the car on the way home with my mother and my brother, and I'm in the front seat. And my mother I'm telling my mother like, yo, you don't think that was a little messed up? And every time I turn around to look back at my brother, this little motherfucker just pointing at me. Like, yo, that shit was crazy, bro.
Hey, that sounds like some damn scary movie shit. If everybody at a church, everybody in the room just pointing at you with some weird organs playing in the background and shit.
Oh my god! And so this is the funny thing. Like I said, I don't dislike the church as a concept, but you know, I have weird experiences. I have a weird relationship to church. I just, you know, I pray on my own.
Yeah. Were they doing like Game of Thrones? They were going, shame, shame, shame.
Yeah, yeah, it was one of those. It did. No, and not like this is what really. Now, let's get deep. Let's really get deep because this is what pissed me off about this shit. And this is the shit I was saying when we was in the car on the way home. It's like every single one of them, all you motherfuckers was ex-junkies, ex-crackheads, fucking hookers and all of that shit. Now you pointing at me, the nerve of you motherfuckers. Like, that shit pissed me off. Oh, you think you clean now because you in church on Sunday. That shit started pissing me the fuck off, man. I was mad as hell after that shit. The nerve of you old niggas.
Hey, a lot of them older people in the church, male and female, done a lot of dirt. And when they come in, they sit they judgmental, self-righteous ass up in there. Y'all was raised in the church. Y'all left the shit in your late teens or whenever you got old enough to where they couldn't make you, and then you come stumbling back to the Lord. You come limping back to the Lord after you done all kind of dirt, and now you 57, 59, you into your 60s now, and limped back up in there. Like, nah, don't say shit to me right now. I don't want to hear it. Yep, that's how I go.
Yeah, that was a hell of a day.
Yeah. Well, all right. Let's dig back into this. He says, here we go. She's saying black folks raise you like they doing you a favor, like you asked to be here. Now that is some truth with a lot of black parents, where they were like you inconveniencing them. You should be thankful that I'm going out my way to do this for you. It's like I didn't have nothing to do with my conception or birth or none of this shit. It's like, what the fuck?
That's why you gotta buy mama a house. Thank you. I mean, I ain't asked for none of this, but thank you. Here you go. Fuck. Happy now?
Oh boy, this is funny. Whoever this dude is right here, the avatar is Carlton Banks. Look like his name, I think. The name of his Twitter page, I don't know exactly how it works. It says protect non-simping, non-coon black men with 2 United States flags. That is just a weird concoction of phrases just thrown together. Protect non-simping, non-cooning black men, and they got 2 American flags. Okay, all right. Anyway, I don't know.
See why I love Twitter? It's just so many interesting things going on up there, man.
Yeah, that is just an interesting concoction right there. But all right, so this guy says a lot of black adults treated black kids terrible and treated white kids better. Black male nerds were treated worst of all time, worst out of all the kids. Most black kids didn't have a good childhood. We are responsible for our standing in the world because of all this. For real. Now, the black nerd thing, we get that, and that's been discussed a lot in this space, particularly black male nerds. A smart black girl will probably get, praised and patted on the head and patted on the back a little more. But yeah, black male nerds, yeah, they get looked at and shunned a certain way. We can get into that. But the part that's jumping out to me is the first thing. Well, no, we can go ahead and get in that. Then we circle back to the black adults treated black kids terrible and white kids better. That was interesting to me.
I just wanted to say about that first part. A black girl who's really bright is still desired by the boys around her. A black boy who is really bright, it just isn't. The girls don't like him.
Very true.
And in fact, he probably reminds the girls of how stupid they are. Like he reminds them of some of their insecurities, so they attack him like, "Oh, you think you know better than me?" Like it's a weird thing with girls.
Yeah. No, I totally agree with that statement. But so what about that first statement? A lot of black adults treated black kids terrible and treated white kids better.
That I don't have experience with. That one came from
me either,
as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. I mean, I can see how that could be the case, how that could be true, but how often were you black growing up in a black neighborhood? I presume went to mostly black school where where exactly were you seeing, black adults treating white kids better? What environment was that,
The
taking place
school,
in?
the school would have to be the most common area of that kind of interaction. And I mean,
Yeah.
maybe it's just something unique to. I don't know. I just can't see it. Like I said, it may be true, but went over my head.
Yeah. Me too on that one. The
Oh,
abuse happening.
housekeepers, nannies. Okay, I see that. That's another area. Okay, you know
Okay,
what?
yeah.
All right, this is something I actually have sort of noticed. When you're in New York City, and like, I used to work in what was I, like 86th Street in Lexington. It's sort of like the pricey part of like New York. A lot of condos up there, or whatever, like tall buildings, old buildings. Think like the Jeffersons. Moving on up to the
Hmm.
east side, right?
Right.
And when I got off the train, when I first started working up there, this shit blew me away. So many black women pushing white babies in strollers. I had to like figure it out in my mind because it's not the sort of thing you can just stop and ask them like, "Hey, what you doing with this white baby?" But I kept seeing it until it hit me. Oh, they're the nannies. And I'm like,
Hmm.
wow, that's such a weird thing. So many black women are still like this far from slavery, still pushing these white babies around.
That's interesting. That is interesting. That is interesting. I didn't think that was that much of a thing, but apparently, I mean, I can see how it is. I mean, if more affluent white people got to hire a nanny, and I don't necessarily see why there wouldn't be a market of white nannies. So it does make you think: do they just are they do they hire the black nannies just for nostalgia reasons? Like what's going on there? It got to be
No,
white
no,
women that can do
no.
the job.
No. Freeman's Journal the other day, he posted something that I used on my show, and it was a link to some study, some really high level official study, some like National Institute of Health or something like that, and it was like looking into the parenting outcomes of black and white moms, and they noticed a lot of differences, especially when it comes to like black boys raised by white moms versus black boys
Uh-oh.
raised by black moms, right? And I'm not even going to get into it. It's as bad as you think. The uh-oh is
Mhm.
well deserved. And the point I'm making is that, so now here's another question to sort of fuck with that survey, because I'm looking at this whole nanny situation. Do white nannies raise white babies better than white nannies? Do black nannies raise white babies better than white nannies?
Yeah, you on to something there.
Right, because it's like such a common thing I keep seeing, and it's maybe it's relative to New York City, maybe it's just a local New York thing, because this is sort of unique almost to like the Caribbean population. All the black nannies are almost definitely from the Caribbean, like by majority. I can just tell just a lot of the accents and the observations I made over the years I worked up that way. But like I'm looking at it like, damn, so y'all must be doing a bang up job raising these white babies. Like you got a lock on this little part of the industry.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's interesting because, like, right now, I mean, it's not like it was before. I mean, it's an open market right now, but you pick the best man for the job. It's
Not
like,
not no Vietnamese, not no Koreans. It ain't no little Taiwanese, no Mexicans. They just got this one little niche market smashed, and I'm just like, maybe they really doing a
yeah,
great job raising white babies.
like it got to be like a tiger mom or somebody out there with some grown kids, and she just looking to take on a little extra job here and there. That I mean, it's like ain't no older Asian women that want to do that job. No, yeah, I get the black women probably doing a bang up job raising them white babies. I don't know. Interesting. Um, Tell Toya in the building says, "LOL, nostalgia kink." I don't know what you got kink from. Enjoying today's stream lots, but yeah, no, it was just a concept, because like we're throwing it out there. They hiring black nannies for nostalgia reasons. That's just a thought. Just a thought. But all right.
They have never stopped. They never lost that skill. Apparently, you gotta keep the tradition alive. You
Yeah.
know how this motherfuckers they like they live in a little village that been like making this one thing the same exact way for 8,000 years. Like I was just watching a clip. It's some place in North Africa. They make
These
some kind of
last
really
$2,
refined.
I'm not gonna lose.
Oh, that one was late.
I wonder. I wonder if black women. I wonder if black women raising white babies is like that one artesian thing that we got. Like this is a handcrafted black raised white baby.
Oh man. The abuse happening to black boys is never talked about because no one gives a damn. Just man up and you will be all right. Okay, well, hold on. And you will be all right type of vibes. And yeah, that's one that we talk about quite a bit. That's the reason the movie Antoine Fisher was very very gripping, because people don't take that into account. So it's all about black girls and the abuse that they face and everything, and what black boys go through. All right, yeah, nigga, man up. Yeah, that's the
Are there
thing.
any really like happy black family movies? Like I mean the hits, not like some obscure shit on Betamax, but like
I mean, Soul Food was a happy black family that had its problems.
yeah, but the whole focus of the movie was like grandma died.
Mm, I mean, it got to be some conflict in movies. So I mean, what do you? I mean, okay, I'm sure
Well,
there's some
the reason
family comedies.
all right, so let me lay it out like this. The reason why I kind of thought of it along those terms is because I remember one of the persistent criticisms of like the Cosby Show was essentially they weren't a real black family. Like they were too happy, they were too well off. And so I'm just curious, is like, the preacher's wife with Denzel and Whitney. Okay, okay, all right, you satisfied that question for me. But because I was just curious about that, like how many really genuinely black happy families do we get to see on the big screen?
Yeah, no, that's fair. I'm slightly, I'm divided on that, and I had to really think about it and go deep diving into, looking into it, and then actually comparing and contrasting with other forms of media with people of other races. But a lot of the time, there, even if this the setup is, a family that's intact and love each other, it do have to be some conflict in the movie. If somebody do got to be, a problem, you know like it's in Soul Food, the slutty cousin did have to fuck somebody's husband,
Right,
so,
right.
like something like that gotta happen.
The
it,
conflict with
it
family,
advances the plot. That's what. But go ahead.
the conflict with black families in movies tends to lean towards the internal versus the external.
Mm. Mm.
And this isn't even a comment on black culture per se. This is just something I noticed about movies. What are we were just talking about something, and it made me think about that. But yeah, it's just a weird thought in my mind.
Yeah, no. Interesting. Here we go. Um, what does it say here? It's kind of positioned. My damn camera is blocking my TV. But black parents aren't resourceful and they fail to prepare their children for the world. They only give you the basic necessities and would rather see you. Oh, cool. Whoa. And would rather see you struggle than provide a speck of help.
I
The
I
the Go ahead.
Okay, I tend to think that one, this is a function more of the single mother home phenomenon. Like a two-parent home, you're not necessarily going to be wealthy, but I tend to think you wouldn't feel as abandoned as you would coming out of a single parent home.
Mm.
just a stronger network and stronger, other families around. Because like you're not the only one in a single parent home. You tend to have, everybody around has got the single parent. So the networks are diminishing when you come from that kind of environment. So when you do get into the adult world, you do kind of feel a sense of like all the strings been cut. You got to figure it out.
Yeah, and now the part that I know it's a thing in some situations. I don't know to what degree it is the truth, but it's like when he say at the end, he says, and they would rather see you struggle than provide you a speck of help. I don't know. I don't know how true that one is. That they would rather see them struggle. I think it's a matter of the parent, the parents themselves are struggling and ain't got shit figured out. I think a lot of that is what it is. The parents have reached a certain age and they're still trying to, they still check the check. And then so it turns into a situation where the kid just in like, hey, you on your own. I can't do nothing for you. And it sort of goes back to when with the comment about when they get to college and as they find out their parents wasn't shit because they figured that they saw what kids from other races had at their disposal, and it's like, whoa, that's a completely different experience there. So I think it's a lot of that more so than they would rather see the kids struggle. That they don't want to see the kids struggle. I think it's a lot of time is that they're struggling a damn self, the parent. But yeah.
I think I know that has to come from like some personal disappointment in the commenter's own life. But
Yeah.
No, you're right. I mean, like obviously, right? But I think
Yeah.
that has to be sort of something that's like unspoken or really unsaid when we have these larger conversations about black success and why the black community is falling behind this or that other community. And we tend to blame external factors so often, but just sort of like we were talking about with the movie thing, like we seem to have a lot of internal things that even there's like a sense of longing in a lot of these comments. You get that, right? Because that's one of the things I get, a sense of longing in the sense that a lot of the commenters through their comments on the natures the negative nature of certain elements in black community, they know what they missed out on. Like as an adult, you can look back on your childhood and know the things that you missed out on because you see what other children have now as an adult.
Mm. Right. It says a kid getting a whooping for any small thing was child abuse, and it shows in the development. We already touched on that one, so we don't gotta spend too much time on that one. That yes, some of them whoopings do definitely qualify as child abuse. Says a lot of anti blackness in the black community starts at home with the black parents. With that one, I would have to know what he means by anti-blackness.
My first thought was colorism. That was my
Yeah,
first thought. Girls be wanting a
yeah,
light skinned baby with good hair and funny color eyes.
yeah. That's a good one. That's a good one. I didn't know. I had no clue what he meant. No clue at all. But that is a good one because when it comes to anti-blackness, those are the type of things they'll try to pin on me or you or anybody that got some criticism, even though them left to their own devices, just a stream of consciousness through a Twitter feed, they are saying a lot of the same shit. So it's like it's hard to say what they're talking about when they talk about anti-blackness. People define that differently, but no, you gave a damn good example. The colorism, yes, if they yeah, they're giving a preference to lighter skin. They want to light skinned baby with good hair and lighter eyes and all of that shit. And yeah, a lot of that starts at home. And you got to shout out Tommy Sotomayor again because he's got a PhD in this shit. And his the whole thing of the black girl growing up with her hair being like black hair is. and then she's seeing her mom with weave down to the small of her back. It's like, what the fuck? You know, they're gonna make that kid hate their hair. They're gonna make that kid hate their blackness. They're gonna make the kid hate being black. Yeah, I mean, so yeah, those are examples, and those are the things that happen. But the reason I was struggling to figure out what the fuck he was talking about is because anybody who's black that thinks outside the box when it comes to blackness, that they get viewed as anti-black. You know, if you're not left leaning, you're anti-black and anti-black. If you can quote Thomas Sowell, you're anti-black. You know, stuff like that makes you anti-black. You know, so that's why I'm like, what is he talking about? Because I don't think that type of that part of that thing that they call anti-black when they're describing it like that doesn't happen at home. That happens when somebody, you know, grows up and really starts thinking for themselves, and then they, you know, go down a different path. But the type of anti-black example that you gave is one that definitely does start at home. But whoopings never work. They just made me grow up and want to beat my mom's ass. Damn.
Yeah, that's a little deep. But like you said, we kind of covered this thing, but we're now at the point we're so deep into this thread, we can start to pull out certain themes here. Individual themes have started to present themselves. Like there's a lot of beatings getting thrown around the black community. A lot of resentment at these beatings getting thrown around as well.
Yeah, I think that's true. Some people never get over it. Some people say, you know, hey, it made me who I am. You know, I remember when Jordan Peterson beat the shit out of his kid. And the kid was like, I think 4 years old, maybe just 4, maybe could have been, I don't know. But anyway, he had all kind of whips and whelps all down he had the boy looking like a damn zebra at the legs. Like that shit was, you know, yeah, beat the shit out that little boy. Not Jordan. I'm so sorry. Adrian Peterson, football player.
Say Jordan Peterson.
Not Jordan Peterson. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so glad I'm doing a show with a co-host today, because I would have said Jordan Peterson and just kept talking in the chat room, and I don't be watching the chat sometimes, and so yeah, I would have just kept going. But no, Adrian Peterson.
Like, that motherfucker cries on TV all the time.
Oh man,
this kid's probably beat him. Shit.
All right, yeah. But anyway, when Adrian Peterson beat the shit out of his son, when Adrian Peterson had his son looking like a zebra at the legs, you know, dude I worked with was like, hey, I don't see no problem, no different from when the marks my daddy left on me. I'm like, oh, okay, all right. So some people grow up, they don't feel no way about it, but it seems like some people never get over them ass whoopings, and they just look at their parents as monsters, and they, and like, go ahead.
No, because why should you? And this now we're back to the whole story I was telling about my daughter. Like, she's a little baby looking up at me like, you big giant fucking asshole.
Mm-hmm.
And like, she probably would be right to think of me that way in that moment. And we're just talking about something as mild as like I smacked her on her butt once or twice. That's literally the extent of it, right? Whereas, like, imagine that. But I mean, no, imagine the sentiment you have to hold after you are actually abused. Because, like, you know, whatever weird shit I had with my parents, I can say I wasn't abused. You know, the few times my mom ever hit me, I don't call it abuse. And then even then, after I got to a certain point when she tried to hit me, it just became funny. You know what I mean? So like, it's not. I know there are differences between like trying to, you know, spank your kid and actually fucking your kid up. And if you actually were beat up by your parents, why should you let go of that? I totally get that. Like, you would feel away.
Yeah, no doubt. Useless Familiar in the building says, you also need to understand that the working class tends to reproduce more. Successful people reproduce less. What? You also need to understand. Okay. I know. I see what you're saying. I think I said it wrong, but yeah, the working class tends to have more kids, is what he's saying.
You know what's ironic about that comment?
Yeah.
I literally just watched
Go ahead.
No, last night I literally watched Idiocracy just last night.
Oh wow.
Yeah, you were making that comment, and I just for fun, I wanted to watch the story over because I've seen it before, but it's weird that yeah, we are definitely living in those times. It's so weird.
All day. All goddamn day. But thank you for that super chat. Do appreciate that. Do appreciate you. Appreciate you putting 5 on it. Here we go. Black adults and kids acting like blackness is monolithic. I grew up being told every other thing I did was white folks shit. I grew up in the 80s and 90s and lots of stuff accepted now wasn't black then. Hell, I was told as an adult breaking was white boy shit. Wow. I don't know what the hell going on there, but he says, we invented breaking. Who said breaking is white boy shit? That's interesting. That's yeah. Some people be having a unique experiences in here that I don't necessarily, think, crosses that I don't think it's across the board
Well,
for most people.
I think there was a tiny element of truth in that in this way, right? After like 1995, 90, definitely by 1997, niggas in the hood wasn't breakdancing on cardboard boxes. You gonna get beat the fuck up and chased off the block. Like that's not how that goes on
Okay.
in that neighborhood no more. So at that point, the only people breakdancing probably were the white kids in the suburbs who were just slumming it in black culture.
Yeah, it's an Asian breakdancing community too out there somewhere. I'll be seeing it
Right,
online.
right. That shit just
Yeah.
left the urban black demographic for the most part.
Yeah, and even on like if you watched America's Best Dance Crew and Randy Jackson was hosting the shit. I mean, was one of the judges on that. Like it was 40%, damn near half the groups were either Asian or had Asians in it. So I think it's a factor of black people start something and white people with other races it will catch on and become their thing later. They like maybe 10 years later, like black people were breakdancing, coming out of the 70s into the 80s into the early 90s. That's when it was really a black thing, and then maybe other groups made it their thing after that. But it's hard to tell with the internet because you don't know how much of them actually do it. Just because there's a lot of videos of them viral doing it, that just means those of them that are the best of the best at it go viral, and it's like an online community that like to watch it is grown from that. But I still question how many of them actually break dance. Like I do just tend to believe if you pick a random sample of 100 black people and a random sample of 100 white people, you're gonna get more break dancers out of the black group, out of the random sample of black people than what you would any
Nah,
other group. But I don't know.
look at the comment. The Golden Capstone says millions were made off "You Got Served." Right over the '90s, that whole urban dance culture did kind of go mainstream.
Yeah.
So like, but once you got what was that? Step It Up. How many Step It Ups did they make? Not one of them
Yeah.
starring a black person.
Yeah. Yeah. It went main. Yeah. Okay. No, that's fair. That's fair. Shit go mainstream a lot faster now. Things that black people do. It was a time when it would stay uniquely black and underground for a while. Now it only stay uniquely black for 6 months to a year. It go viral and now everybody doing it.
Right?
So,
Yeah, my
but
fucking Channing Tatum breakdancing and I don't know, he was nigga dancing. That's what that was. Yeah, Channing Tatum nigga dancing. I don't know how much money he made off of that. That was one of his early movies before like G.I. Joe and shit.
yeah. All right. Let's get to a few more. I will open up the panel on this one. Get some perspective of someone else on this, but he says not being nurtured mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, and then wondering why the child is depressed and shouldn't be shouldn't be because they have the latest Jordans and McDonald's money. Yeah. Yeah. You know, not being nurtured mentally and emotionally and spiritually.
Listen,
Okay.
your mom had a job. She got other things to do. You ain't got time to come home and kiss your boo boos every night.
Okay, it says whoopings can help some more than they can hinder. Yeah, let's go ahead and get the link in the chat room. Get the link in the chat room. Let's see. Get a few more of these. It says your child stays on the game because it's giving them things you can't adequate praise. Um, Space to be themselves and instruction or advice when they mess up. Child stays on the game because it's giving them things you can't adequate praise. That's worded kind of funny. Space to be
Yeah.
themselves and instruction or advice that they can't mess up. Yeah, I just hit them and share the shortcomings with the community. All
Oh,
right.
there's that violent threat again. Like I'm noticing
Mm-hmm.
the theme here: violence and a little bit of just general dysfunction.
Mm-hmm. Says stop shaming people for not knowing how to play spades and teach them. That is a weird thing where you just get shamed for not knowing how to play. No, nobody ever just I don't know if anybody gets taught how to play spades anymore. They just get shamed for not knowing. Yeah, that's true.
Like, hold on, you weren't born knowing how to play spades? I,
Yeah.
okay, I thought that's how it worked. I was just born into it.
I mean, I felt like that. I learned when I was very young. I was very young when I learned. But have best friends that are the same intellectual level and goal level as you have saved the lives of a lot of black boys, including myself.
Oh, that's a little bit. That's an intricate type of thing here. Have best friends that are on the same intellectual level and goal level as you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you got sons, and I have a son as well, and I imagine like the teenage years being sort of the most dangerous parts for a young boy because there's a lot of influences and weirdness just internally, and I worry about that whole quote falling in with the bad crowd kind of cliche. And I imagine my father had the same exact worries too. But like that sort of is a thing. One, I guess that's just parenting in general. But then I think two, in the black community, it has an even darker element because like if you live out in the suburbs or whatever, falling in with a bad crowd is like they smoke cigarettes under the bleachers after school, right? That's some 80s suburban white cliche. But like if you live in like in Newark or Detroit or some shit, falling in with a bad crowd is dark.
Yeah. Right. What else we got in here? The link. Okay, yep, the link is in the chat. Let's see. Let's go to another one. Another one says, maybe normalize talking about mental health and therapists. Our feelings matter. Right. What? Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm gonna skip that one. We kind of already talked about the mental health thing. Black boys can't have graceful childhood. Let me make that. I gotta change that because my camera is in the way of my screen. All right, here we go. Black boys can't have graceful childhoods just because he is a boy does not mean he can't do everything a man does at 5 to 10 years old. Forcing your kid to grow up at that age robs them of childhood. All right. I thought she was about to go left, but when she said black boys can't have a graceful childhood,
Yeah, I don't
I
like the use of the word graceful in association with boys in any context. Like, just don't
mm-hmm.
talk about boys like that. But I get the point of it. And obviously this is like a female commenter, but I think it's a truism that black children grow up fast for one reason or another. But there's that whole man of the house thing that girls just don't have the same relation. Well, actually, you know what? I think girls do have a similar concept, but it's just not given the same title. Because like there is a sort of thing of like the older. It's like a trope, the older sister having to really be essentially a second mom because
Mm-hmm.
whatever's going on with the mom, drugs or whatever. And so I think it is just a little bit common, and especially judging by these comments, it seems to be a little bit more common that black kids are expected to take on semi-adult responsibilities way too early.
Yeah. Yep. Let's see. If nobody comes up, let me get one more. We've gotten way too entertainment and sports centered. What happened to these kids learning about famous scientists, etc.? What a famous scientist is talking about: boys can be girls and girls can be boys. Shout out to Neil deGrasse Tyson, etc. He says, I knew about 10 non-entertainment people before I went to high school. Okay. I want to put a pin I want to put a pin in that right now, because one thing that I want to talk about, I don't know if you've done any content on this. It's kind of putting you on the spot, so hopefully you're slightly familiar with it. I wanted to ask you about, I kind of thought, like, if you didn't, like, right before you suggested this topic, I was going to throw the Colin Kaepernick, basically writing that chucking and jiving, begging for a spot on the Jets. You know about that?
Yeah, I gotta admit, I'm a little uninterested in him at this point. Like, it's so pathetic. Like, why? I hate to look at a motherfucker who that pathetic. Honestly, like, you need to just be out of my vision. Like, you gotta get yourself together, bro. Come back to the world after you done. I don't know. Go on a go. What do they call that shit when white people have breakdowns? Like, you need to go on recovery or something.
You need to check yourself into something, or
Yeah, man. Just declare you got exhaustion and check yourself into the Betty Ford clinic or something, because this shit is pathetic at this point.
yeah. That was weird. I actually sat there. I read that whole thing from beginning to end, and I mean, he put more thought into writing that than what he did into kneeling, because it was such a detailed request letter. Like, I just could not believe how just in depth he went into explaining, like, every possible objection that they could possibly have.
That
He
nigga
thought
wrote.
about it in advance and answered every objection as if it was a back and forth conversation. It was just weird. Like,
He sent them a 4-page letter and sealed it with a kiss.
man, yeah, he did.
Like, I'm gonna get my man back.
I was
No, this shit is pathetic, bro. Like, I hate to see a nigga act this low. Like, this is disgraceful. And not for nothing. Now, do you understand why I look at this pro black thing with such a suspicion? Like, in a weird way, it kind of it robs you of all the intrinsic, like, raw masculine qualities that make men followable. Like,
yeah.
why would I follow you now? Like, so let me get this right. In your war against, quote, the white man, you wrote him this begging, groveling letter. Like, I bet you if you shine that shit up to the light, you could see the teardrop stains on the shit. And now I'm supposed to, like, follow you in all of my blackness. No, I'm okay. I'm good. I'm good. I'll be over here.
Yeah, it's I just couldn't even get to the point of, like, I wanted to do content on it. I was like, this is just the letter was just so tedious. I was gonna read through it and respond to it on the air and all kind of shit. It's like, didn't he have a moment where he could have got back in the league, or was that fake news that he could have got back in the league and he sort of was like, he sort of
Yo,
turned down opportunity before?
okay, so this is the story, and this is probably about when I stopped paying attention to him. But this is the story as I understand it. He had a situation with the Ravens, and I don't know the entire details of the situation, but he had a shot, he had a spot waiting for him, but his girlfriend messed it up for him somehow, some way.
Oh,
Yeah,
she didn't
it
think it would
was
be a good political move for him to go back.
something like that. I can't even. I'm not even going to get the line about details. I don't know, but that's kind of the rumor mill story that was going around at the time. Like, something going on with him and his girlfriend, and she didn't like the idea of it, so he didn't go along with it either.
Mm. So he had a chance to go, but then yeah, I remember now. I'm glad you jogged my memory. That was a perfect situation for him because he would have been replacing a mobile quarterback in Lamar Jackson, who always get hurt by the end of the season. He would have got his opportunity to step into an offense that was perfect for him, and he didn't take it. And now he's begging. He'd be begging to go back to what he called slavery. Niggas begging to get back on a plantation.
He
That's
did
what's happening.
a whole mini documentary comparing slavery to the plantation with auction scenes and all this wildness. And now, like, this is the first slave that ever wrote a 4-page letter begging to be bought. And this, maybe it was really like that. I'm just saying he can't be the first slave that ever got away and was like, you know what, shit crazy out here. I think I'm gonna go back.
Man, get the fuck out of here, man. Go. Get the fuck out of here.
What? Too much? Too much?
Yeah. Too soon, too much. No, we not going. You ain't gonna tell me. You ain't gonna tell me some slaves got free and then tasted that freedom for like a month or so. And was like, you know what? I think I'm gonna go back.
I'm just saying, like, nobody told the slave when you left the plantation you had to actually build your own house. You have to make your own fucking nails. You know what I'm saying? Like, they might have did the math and was like, all right, listen, how many bales of corn you want today? You know what I'm saying? Like, it might have. Don't blame me. I got the idea from Colin, okay? It was Colin Kaepernick. I learned this from an actual justice warrior.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh man. Goddamn. SKC says some should do a show on Cap, Jamila Hill, and Cap's girlfriend. Jamila Hill I haven't seen her pop her head up in a while. So I have no idea what's going on with her. So yeah, I'd imagine she got some commentary. But
don't make me pay attention to chicks I know I won't like.
Yeah. But no, it's I was thinking about the Kaepernick thing because it's a lot there that it's just tedious to dig into it. And I was like, do I really want to go there? Because I didn't even feel like researching the whole situation. You just reminded me with the Ravens, where I knew it was a there where he kind of could go back and play, but didn't go back and play. And now he's doing this, and I didn't want to have to go rewatch that documentary and hear everything he said that flies in the face of what he's talking about right now. I just didn't feel like doing the research, so I said, fuck it.
Well, I mean, and then too, like, you gotta understand, the minute he gets on any team, it automatically becomes about black lives and race and woke and all that dumb shit. And it's like, why would you even want that around you as an organization? Even if you love black people and all of that, why do you need all that extra headache? Like, nigga, throw the ball. That's all I need you to do. Throw the ball. I don't even want you to run that much because you're getting old now.
Here's the thing, though. He would be a backup quarterback, so he wouldn't be throwing the ball. He would be a sideline guy who's not even getting in the game, but the camera is constantly on him. All the national attention just watching what he does during the national anthem. Yeah. You can handle those kind of distractions from if somebody's like your star running back, if they your star receiver like T.O., Terrell Owens was allowed to Terrell Owens can get away with being a head case, annoying, and just causing controversy every other week. Why? Because he was scoring touchdowns. All right. So it's like you take the good with the bad. But when you back up quarterback status, that it's you can't be that distraction. But look at how he's saying Toby right now. You gonna get there and stand up during the national anthem? Stand up, boy. It's like you can't go back, but he's begging to go back so he can stand during the anthem. Like, no,
yeah. I would,
don't look bad either way.
I would put it as a part of the contract. At every game, he has to stand up for the national anthem, and he has to wave. He has to wave a flag. It's going to be an 8-foot pole with a giant flag on it, and he has to wave it in front of every game. Like, I would put that shit in the contract. Like, all right, you want to come back? I'm a slave the shit out of you now, boy. Like, that's really, and I'm laughing at what's the name, Groove Audio Books in the chat. He said, Massa, it's cold outside. All right, well, you won't come sit next to this fire. You're going to have to work for it, boy.
I said your name is Toby. Kunta Kinte. Damn! Steve! What'd I say about hitting so hard, man? I'm sorry, are you all right? You sorry? I'm gonna show you sorry, man. I'm gonna show you sorry, bro.
When they come out the tunnel, he got to come running out the tunnel holding an American flag and got to do like a one lap around the field with the American flag. They gonna put that in his contract.
a big ass flag on a giant pole. He got to run around this motherfucker like the male cheerleader, like with spirit. Like, you got to smile too, nigga. Like, do it with pep, motherfucker. Pep, goddamn it, pep. All right, you got to run around this bitch and wave the flag and America, yeah. Like, you got to do all of that.
Yeah,
it's the only way you're getting on this team, and you riding the bench.
Yeah, the icing on the cake. We're not even putting you in. You just got to publicly. You just got to do this public display. That's it. We ain't putting you in. Oh man,
I got to. How could you not at that point? Like, come on, man. And then look, how many years has he been out the game?
Yeah, no, I am convinced that he's not going to be. He can't play no more.
Right.
I'm absolutely convinced of that.
You've been retired longer than most niggas' career, bro.
Yeah. No, it's already a wrap on that. It's already a wrap on that. It ain't no way he coming back and being able to play. He was already in the towards the end of his career already when he started that, and then you give him a something like a 4-year layoff, 5 years.